Well, good morning, everybody. Hello. Hey, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. This is a Monday through Friday virtual stitching retreat where you hang out in here with me and follow me on my sewing journey. And I hope I can inspire you to put something under the needle. Welcome, everybody. Great to see everybody here in the chat. Yeah, the gang's all here and it's Embroidery Thursday. Yay. Yay. Miss Frito is here. She wants her biscuits. Let's see. Oh, is it Elaine's birthday? Happy birthday, E.T. Gillen. Hello. Happy birthday. Is there birthday cake in the kitchen then? That's awesome. We have a virtual kitchen. This is Miss Frito, our little rescue. You want your Dave biscuit? There you go. Dave must be flying. He's not been in here in a couple of days. I haven't seen him. There you go, sweet girl. Want one more? Okay. Yes. So dainty. So dainty, which I appreciate instead of you taking off my fingers. Go brush your teeth. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness. We have a birthday. Awesome. Awesome. You know, our birthdays nowadays, they kind of go by in a whisper. They used to be a big deal when we were kids. Now it's like, shh. They go by in a whisper. So it's always nice. I've had people write to me and tell me they absolutely love this community because this was the only place they got any happy birthdays. You know, they may not have family around anymore or, you know, they're kind of reclusive or whatever, but they feel good and comfortable in this space. And so it's really, really nice, really nice. Oh, I had another lady write me too and tell me, you know, the other day we were talking about those scam texts that you get telling you that you owe toll fees. And she said that she and her husband have been getting those. And so she just paid it. I don't know how much it was. She just paid it. She didn't want to deal. And then she heard us talking about it and called a credit card company and stopped it. It was a scam. Yeah. So that didn't cost her any money. So anyway, that's really cool. You never know what you're going to come across here at Power Tools with Thread, right? I had so much fun with you guys yesterday. It is at 3:30 Central. I was on the Sewing Machines Plus's live stream for Quilt Fest. A lot of you were in there. Great. It was good to see all of y'all there too. They were like PTWT Nation in the house. And we loaded the backing on the frame for the quilted, not the quilted scarecrow, how to build a scarecrow. She had two. Lori Holt had two at the same time. So that was good. Now today, before the show, because I'm on again at 3:30 Central, I've got to get the batting on and get the top all ready to go, get it basted down, and then we're going to go through how to do a design and get that all put on there. So that'll be fun. That will be fun, fun, fun. So, oh, New Braunfels just put out a note about the toll scam. Yeah, it's a good one too. Absolutely. Y'all, we're going to hit 91 degrees today. Crazy. March, Texas, South Texas. Awesome. So, let's see. Oh, you ordered your Sew Tights. Debbie, you're going to love those. Love, love, love. I have videos, pre-records, I think. They've been pre-recorded. If you check my channel, I've got videos on how to install those metal backing pieces into your leaders and then how to load and all that using Sew Tights. If you just go to my channel and hit, you know, or just Power Tools with Thread Sew Tights in the YouTube search and they'll come up and check those out. Okay. So a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, we expect it to be 80 in Florida, Pam. So, oh goodness. Oh goodness. Okay. So today, hold on a minute. I'm going to do this. Several months ago, I was talking with Julie, the owner of Designs by Juju. And she, hi, Ellen from Idaho. Glad you made it. Good morning. Oh my God, the time saver in your fingers. I'm telling you. Oh, y'all, they're an investment. They're not cheap, but they are so worth it. Oh my goodness. So all you need to, oh, thank you. Sissy says, I don't have a long arm, but I enjoyed your show. Y'all, my camera was wonky. I had the wrong camera. This camera right here wasn't connected into the thing. So I had to fix that. And I had a loose connection on the back of the machine. So I showed how easy it was to reach the on-off button from the back. If you're standing in front, how easy it is to reach. Because some of those machines are so big, you have to walk around the back end of your frame in order to even turn the thing on. And this one you can just reach. And when I turned it back on, the little screen didn't come back on. And I was sitting there looking at it and I'm like, oh no, now what do I do? Oh, I was so happy that I wasn't using the screen during that part of the show. It better come on today because I need it. I went through and sure enough, I had a little loose connection in the back. User error, I'm sure, right? So that was pretty good. I got to take this lid off because my coffee is super hot. I need it to cool a little bit. If I drink through that little hole in the lid, I will scorch my face off. So anyway, I was talking to Juju and I love my bowl cozies. I really do. Bowl cozies are these little, some you can put in the microwave and some you can't. And I make the ones that you cannot, okay? Because you really need to have 100% cotton everything. And I don't own a single spool of 100% cotton thread for embroidery thread. So thank you guys, Bernadette. You're sweet. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I just went ahead and made mine using embroidery thread. Okay, so I make mine that are not the kind that go in the embroidery machine. When you get the design from Designs by Juju, I think I have a link to them below the video. But when you get the design and you watch the video, the young lady in the video says 400 times, you must use 100% cotton thread. I don't have any. I don't have 100% cotton bobbin. I don't have any. And so in order to make the kind without an embroidery machine, I have 100% cotton thread if I was to sew it. But y'all, to sew these cross hatches like this, that is the most boring thing in the entire world to me. And about 2 stripes into it, I'm done. I'm bored to death of making them by hand. So I asked Juju, I know, Debbie, don't tell anybody that. I'm having to say the right thing so people can't say, Becky said I could use regular embroidery thread and pop this in my microwave and it's fine. I can't tell you that, okay? Now, if my husband throws this in there and doesn't know one way or the other and it doesn't melt, well, then so what? These poly threads can take a lot of heat. Anyway, neither here nor there. So I asked her, I said, can you make an embroidery pattern for bowl cozy? She said, I think so, but it's going to have to be part sewing as well because you've got to sew in those darts and all that, right? So it curves. And I said, sounds good. I don't care. I just want something to handle making all of the cross hatching and then any designs. She did say it over and over and over. Margie, you'd be surprised how many people something would go wrong and they would blame Juju and she would have to say, it says in the instructions over and over. And the young lady said it over and over. You must use 100% cotton. Okay. We all know the drill because there will be somebody who burns their mouth on a cup of coffee and blames the restaurant, right? Okay. Not themselves for knowing that they're going to get hot coffee. So anyway, she released this pattern last week. And the first thing I did, that day, I put it on Facebook that Juju had the bowl cozies. So I put it on Juju. I put it on our Facebook group that Juju had the bowl cozies and my link was there to that. And then I stitched one up right away and it works absolutely perfect. Now there's 3 different sizes. 2 different sizes, different styles. If you have a smaller embroidery machine, you will make 1/4 of it at a time. So you're actually going to make 8 quarters. You'd make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. because these are 2 different fabrics. Okay. So you'd make 8 quarters. If you have a larger embroidery machine, 6x10, a 6x10 made this size. And this is one of those bowls from, I think it's from IKEA. The standard IKEA little white bowl. Fits perfect. This is a 7-inch cereal bowl. Okay. So the 2 patterns are for 7-inch bowls and 9-inch bowls. So the 7-inch bowl fits that one just perfect. Okay. And if you have a 6x10, you can make a half at a time. So instead of 8 hoopings, it's only 4 because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And the idea, see how the cross hatching matches perfecto in there? Look at that. That's the idea. Okay. Yes, they're very washable. Sure. So I jumped right on that. Now I did use the Wrap and Zap simply because I had some. If you don't have any, you can use 100% cotton batting, whatever color you want. Just don't put the scrim if it's going to go in the microwave. The scrim might have some poly in it, and the poly may melt in the microwave. May melt, all right? But you guys, I put a 350 or hotter iron on these threads, and they're fine. But I don't know what microwaves do to them, okay? So just FYI. Okay. So, I did use this, but I want you to see, this says 100% natural cotton batting. This is a packaging thing, okay? This is to make you feel better. For those of you who don't know your textiles, this is to make you feel safe and confident that you can put this in the microwave, because they even give you a little potato bag cooker thing, all right? But it says in the ingredients, 100% cotton. So if you have a roll or a package of 100% cotton batting already on your shelf, you can use that. It's the same thing. Same thing. You don't have to run out and buy new. Okay. I'm just PSA. Okay. All right. So but this doesn't have any scrim. Okay. The batting I buy doesn't have scrim either because it's on a roll. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that. All right. That's okay. Yeah. So Erin's got a thing. She customized hers. Check this out. She made a small one on her Solaris with IQ Designer using a decorative fill. That's awesome. Oh, cool, Vicky. That's awesome. We got bowl cozies you got ice cream with bowl cozies in the kitchen. Okay. So I have talked to y'all and told you guys, if I know a lot of you are like me, when it comes to picking fabrics for these things, you get completely frozen because some of you would just grab something. Yes. Tiny's telling us they have pre-cut batting for bowl cozies. That's expensive. Those are expensive, you guys. So, your dog's your alarm clock to watch power tools with thread. So if you can certainly buy that. Those are pre-cut, good to go, easy peasy. You don't have to fiddle with it. But the nice part about this pattern is, it's going to have the line for you, and you can make as many as you want and use your 100% cotton batting and a couple of fat quarters. You need 2 fat quarters to make this. Okay. So which fat quarters? And I have a couple of thoughts. Scrim. Heidi says it took her forever to figure out what scrim is. It's like a selvage on batting is what it is. And it's a strong edge that it's put into the cotton in the manufacturing process that helps it run through the rollers on the machine without the fibers getting all stretched out of shape. Yeah, that's what that is. I'm not a poly batting user, Belge Cats. I don't know how to say your name. Okay. So if you're like me and you have to look at a fat quarter thing, I know it's a big pile. I've got a quilt laying up on top of it, y'all. All my fat quarters over there. I would stop and stare at it for 5 hours and then give up and not make a thing. So what I did was I found a little bundle. It had 6 fat quarters in it from Garden Girl, which is an adorable fabric line. That's what we're going to make today. Okay. So I recommend. Oh, Bonnie, thank you. It's not Frito's birthday. Well, it's her birthday month. That's very sweet. Thank you. I'll get her some more treats. Y'all don't throw money at that dog. Thank you. You're very thoughtful. Bonnie says, happy birthday, Frito. It is her forever home birthday. Oh, we have a sick chicken. I don't know what happened to her. She's got pecked at, or she got a claw in the back of her neck. She got a hole or something. She's kind of flopping around. I don't know if she hurt her wing when she was flying around in the coop. Who knows? But she's in isolation right now on the back patio. So prayers for the chicken. Okay. Does Loft Supply ever discount their batting? No, they do not, Dee Dee. Not that I'm aware of. Unless you buy wholesale. That's it. All right. So if you get a little bundle of fabrics, okay. So like these two, this is just me to you. This is what I do to make my life easy. The designer of the fabric bundle knows that these fabrics go together. So use those. Okay. That way you don't have to pick, because here's what happens to my brain. Oh, I need to pick fabrics for these. Well, I could use my favorite colors. Oh, those don't go with my kitchen. Let's see. Does it really matter? It's a bowl cozy. Yeah, it matters. It's going to be in my cabinet for years and years and years. I'm going to be looking at it. And what if I hate the fabrics? And every time I look at it, I go, oh, I hate those fabrics, but I don't have time to make another one. And what am I going to do? Seriously, this is what goes on in my head. And it makes me crazy that I have to pick a fabric. So rather than reach for random fat quarters, okay, I'm going to use a fat quarter bundle. That sounds good. So do I use my 32 fat quarter bundle, or do I use my 6 fat quarter bundle? They're both pretty. What if I want to make a table runner with just that fat quarter? That was going to make a table runner with that. Am I going to make a table runner with that? I don't know. I really want to. What are the odds? I don't know. Maybe I should. Let me look around. Let me keep looking. This is what happens. Do you guys do this? This is what goes on up here. All right. Well, what if an event comes up and I decide, oh my gosh, I wish here's what never comes into my head. I wish I had not used those pretty fat quarters to make that bowl cozy. That's what never happens. This is my brain, y'all. So to make my sample, I dug for a fat quarter bundle that I didn't like. I found some ugly fabric. Okay. I don't like this fabric. It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful bowl cozy. It's beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I know. You guys are laughing. This is what happens to people who think like I do. There are so many of us that think like I do. I know. And we get totally frozen. We cannot just simply make a decision. So this is pretty fabric. So anyway, I reached for a fat quarter bundle that I did not like in order to make the first one. Okay. The first one came out so good. I said, all right, now I can make my bowl cozy. All right. Now I can reach for the pretty fabric. So I reached for some Garden Girl. And I kind of had this idea in my head. Use fabrics that are opposite of one another. So I have a large print on the outside. Okay. And I have a small print on the inside, and it works fine. And I also make sure whatever color is in the large print, that color is also in the small print. So the red and the red. The greens don't match. I don't care, but the red pulls it all together. See? That's how I thought that out. So on the Garden Girl one, all right, I have a large print. This is the focus fabric. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Y'all, sometimes that's why I buy multiples of fat quarter bundles. so that I can use one for a little project and I have more for another. It's terrible. Living in here is loud and hard. All right. That's why we're here together. John says, you're supposed to help me decide. So I'm trying to help you, okay? Get a fat quarter bundle you like. Pick a large scale and a small scale. And make sure that the colors are, okay? So the tan that is in here, there's a little tan flower. Now, thread color is a whole nother thing. But I chose the green. I thought it would look cute on the outside. And I've got tan on the inside. And I decided to change that after it did the outline. I did the outline in green on that one. Okay. So I stitched these up yesterday, and we're going to stitch the next one now. And then we're going to put it all together. Y'all, I tell you guys all the time, it's hard for me to pick fabric. And you guys are like, no, it's not. Everything you use comes out beautiful. That's because I use bundles that designers have taken care of the hard work and the heavy lifting for me, because I'm not good with that. All right. Oh, also, I do not recommend. So these would be pretty together inside and out, but you're not going to match up your lines on the fabric. The buffalo check won't match up. The plaid, it's real close to being a buffalo check. They're pretty big, but the plaids won't match up on the edges. And I'll look at it and I'll see the lines from the outside and the lines over here, and they won't match up. And I'll be disappointed every time I look at it. So I don't recommend, while they work together, don't use two plaids. I did have a check in here, but the outside is floral. So that works pretty. Right. It's hard. This is my world. All righty, guys. Carrie, you've got, is your cat on your keyboard? All right, y'all. Ignore my messy mess. There's a whole lot going on here in the back of the room, but we're going to hoop this batting. So I did steam out. I didn't press the batting, okay, but I steamed it out to get the wrinkles out of it. And I have a 6x10 hoop. Okay. This is so easy to do, y'all. It's so easy to do. No design, no, I mean, it's an in the hoop project, but it's pretty simple. All right. You're just going to lay the batting on there like that. Okay. And I'm going to take my little corrugated plastic thing and lay it halfway on. And I'm going to take my top hoop and I'm going to balance it vertically right here. And I can feel the edge of the metal frame. I'm going to push this over so that they're even, and then drop it down and pull that out. Ta-da. Pretty hooping. See how easy that was? Very simple. I also have, y'all, a trimmer by George. So I am not going to trim in the hoop. And I will show you guys how I trim this up with the trimmer by George. I've got a link to this below the video. Okay. All right. So let's get busy, shall we? Super easy. I love my dime hoops too. Any of the links below the video to dime, you can click on those and go find the hoop that works for your machine. And I don't think I put a link specifically to the hoop, but I did put a link to dime. All righty. So I'm going to pop this in here. Do I have plenty of bobbin? I do. All right. Let me put this in here. And let's zoom in and see what we're doing. This is Darla, my Luminaire. This started as an XP1. It says XP1 right here, but she's had all the upgrades. So she's an XP3. And I need to change my thread color back to green because we're going to do the last panel for the outside of the bowl cozy. Okay. It's hot in here. I'm going to have to turn on my air conditioner. I pull the thread through. I tie it off at the top up there, okay, with a big loop, and then I just pull it through to thread the machine, change my thread colors. Is anybody new here? Please let us know in the chat if you're new. We have welcoming committee wandering around in the back. And we've got a virtual kitchen. I think there's birthday cake in there and coffee. I'm going to turn on my AC, y'all. Okay. Frito says, Mom, turn on the AC. It's hot in here. Okay. Thank you, Dee Dee. I enjoyed yesterday. I'm looking forward to today, too. All righty. So I'm going to go to embroidery and the pocket for memory and the wireless. I sent it over wirelessly in Brilliance. And my bowl cozy right there and set. So you only need to stitch 2 of the same thing. Now, I'm not stitching the decorative designs. I didn't want that. I like mine to be just crosshatch both sides. That's it. They have other ones in the design that have pretty floral and all that. I didn't want to do that. That's too much time. Okay. So you're in the virtual kitchen eating ice cream right now. You don't need a bowl cozy. It'll keep your fingers warm. Okay. So here we go. We're ready to go, y'all. It's got 3 different stitches. It's going to do a placement line for the fabric right here. And then we're going to do a tack down for the fabric. And then it's going to do the cross hatching, and that's it. Then I'm going to switch out my foot, and we're going to sew it together. And I put my lid on backwards. So straight out of the carton. Nice. Sewing sisters today. Nice. Oh, good. That'll be fun. Could be playing SMP on the big TV. I'll be there. Say hi to me, Connie. I put a Folgers pod in instead of my Black Rifle. I can taste it. Yeah. Alrighty. So I just throw fabric on there, y'all. This will fit. I put my fat quarter in the short way, so I use less fabric right here. And I just want to make sure that it's over it. So I've got about 1 inch hanging over or so. All right, that looks good. And I'm going to let it tack it down. And I'm just going to kind of make sure it doesn't bubble. Keep your fingers well out of the embroidery field stitching area, y'all. I have a friend of mine. She gets her fingers right up there. It drives me crazy. Absolutely crazy. I'm like, get your hand. Ah! Ew. I'm going to go around twice. If you do this, you got to keep the way I'm doing this, which is bad. This is bad. Don't just throw a big chunk of fabric on there, y'all. You're supposed to cut them out. Okay. But if you do this, then just make sure this doesn't get hung up underneath the needle. And decorative stitching. There we go. Okay. All right. Look how much fabric I have. So you need like just over half of a fat quarter to make 2. Okay. All right. So let me talk to you about the trimmer by George. The trimmer by George is, how did I add the crosshatch stitching? Katie, that's part of the design. That's in the Designs by Juju Bowl Cozy pattern. It's part of it. Can you use 10-inch squares? I don't know. I think it'd be a little small. I don't think so. Okay. So the trimmer by George is a product proprietary to Hoop Sisters, which is an embroidery company. And it has a metal edge right here, a little metal edge. And the idea, oh, I should have said, before you put down your top pretty fabric, that's when, if you do not have a trimmer by George, you might want to go ahead and trim all the batting around the outside of the stitch line, okay? Because then you put this on and you wouldn't have to fiddle with it. But anyway, when you have a trimmer by George, you can skip that step because you can trim it really close to the stitching when you pull that out of the hoop, okay? Tomorrow's Pie Day. I know. That's cool. So what you do, and I'll show you how to trim this, but this snugs right up. You hold it up vertically and you flip the top pretty fabric over and push this up against the stitch line and then fold it over to protect the pretty fabric, and then you trim the batting underneath. So you do that all at one time. It's really very handy. Okay. I'll use my Martelli rotary mat for this. You don't have to have a rotary mat. It just makes life easy if you want to. And absolutely, if you wanted to use your design center, if you have that ability on a machine, or maybe you want to create somebody's name or welcome home or something kitcheny or something in letters, you can stitch that out, or you can create that on your machine, right? Save it as a design and then do an ad and add that, and then it'll stitch that when it's done. So there's a lot of different options for this. Don't you put anything under your batting in the first hoop? No, Debbie, you do not. Your batting is the stabilizer in this particular design. Yeah. So, oh, did we have a winner at SMP yesterday? That's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. The design DBJJ shows only a sunflower. Is there another design with just the crosshatch? So, Jane, that's a great question. When you get the designs from Designs by Juju, it has a sunflower and a crosshatch in the same design, okay? One of them is Bowl Cozy 1, and the other one is Bowl Cozy 2. Bowl Cozy 2 has something else. It's a different design. I don't know what, little floral, whatever it is. I don't know. So I used the crosshatch 4 times. I just ignored the floral part. But that's a great question. Oh, Tiny got a $25 gift card from Sew Machines Plus. Awesome. Margaret Tiffin, she goes by Tiny. Okay, so this is it, y'all. We are done with the embroidery machine to make this bowl cozy. How cool is that? Looks good, huh? How about that? Then how can you trim the batting ahead? Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. Then you won't trim it. See, I didn't trim it, so it didn't. You're right. You can't. You can't. That's a good point. It is fast. It's faster to do this than it is to stitch the whole thing yourself, believe me. All righty. Okay, so let me take this off. Yeah, you can't trim the batting in the hoop. Duh. All right, so here's how you're going to get the most of your batting scraps. See, I saved all of my batting scraps, okay, from yesterday, because I sew these together and reuse. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So when you pull this pretty fabric up, all right, then you take the trimmer by George and you put the metal edge like this and fold it over, and that protects the fabric under there. Now you need a 60 millimeter rotary cutter. The 45 doesn't give you a good cut in here because this little, if you have this style of rotary cutter, because the button doesn't work. The button, it won't let you get deep enough. So I have a nice long strip there. Okay. And then, so you just kind of run it. Well, all right. And then after you cut, okay, it's got lines on it for measuring. I like a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay. It says 1/4. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter one way or the other. But I like to trim this all the way up, and you don't get the bulk if you cut away that batting. Okay. So I do the sides first and then the corners. It's pretty quick. You're going to need some clips too, some of those Wonder clips. Okay. And then these corners. There we go. One more. It's really easy too. You got to be careful that you don't have any fabric peeking out underneath, because you can cut that, which is fixable. It's not a big deal. All right. So now I just use some scissors, and I'm going to get in here and get this dart, trim right next to the seam. And then eyeball. Very, very scientific. Okay, so I got that all done. Good. I'm going to curve these corners, and the garment seamstress in me won't allow me to leave these large corners. I'm going to cut some V's in them. This is going to give the fabric somewhere to go, little notches, when it's turned, and that keeps you from getting big bulky corners. Okay, so I'm going to do those little notches. I can't stand it. Have to do that. Okay. Just getting rid of bulk. Okay, this is ready for sewing now. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty, good. Oh, yes, Terry, the special ruler allows you to trim. Whenever you have a pattern that tells you to trim in the hoop, all right. So, for instance, like on a mug rug, you've got no-show mesh stabilizer in the hoop, and it does a placement line. You put your batting down. It does a tack down line of the batting, and then the instructions tell you to stop and trim around the outside and get rid of that batting in the hoop, and you're having to fiddle with it in your lap or on the table and trim, 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 trim. You don't have to do that if you have a trimmer by George. You can wait until the end of the thing, unhoop it like I did, and then use that. And I want to show you how close this gets. Look how close that batting is to the stitch line. So you don't get the bulk. Best money spent, a trimmer by George. If you go to the description box below the video, it says ... more. Click that. It opens up all the links under the video. There is a link there to Hoop Sisters. If you'd use my link, I appreciate it. Love those ladies. And that will, it's the best money spent. I'm telling you. That's one of those tools that you need to get. That's one of those tools for sure. All right. I got to change my foot out, y'all. I need my screwdriver. Let's see here. If I can remember how to do this. Let me, okay, go to home. Okay. Let me go to sewing. Okay. Get that arm out of the way so I can get in here. Okay. I'm just going to leave the same thread in. Ow. Just stuck myself. I'm going to leave the same thread in. I'll just stitch with embroidery thread. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go through all that. Okay. So what we're going to do is as simple as just matching up these seams and sewing them together. Okay. So we're going to sew them like this. All right. We're going to sew them like that. And the first stitch you want to do is the long straight back. Let me get my clips. So you want your matching sets. Okay. This is one side. Don't do that. Don't do inside and outside together. Do both outside pieces together. Okay. So I'm just going to match these up. Now, one thing you can do, need a pin. I want to show you guys. Let's get up close so you can see how to pin these. See how it's got the corner right there? I'm going to go inside of the stitches on the most outer stitch, on the inside, on the corner, all right? And I want to match the corner here. You can do that. You can match your corners. Now, if you want to make sure that your cross hatching matches, put your pin at the point right inside the outer stitch line of the cross hatch, okay? And then put it to its partner on the other piece right inside the outer stitch line. All right. And now you've got your cross hatching matched up. Hold the pin horizontally straight between your thumb and forefinger. All right. And then you're going to take another pin and you're going to go in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. And that anchors those together. And then you can pull that pin. So in a perfect world, your cross hatching is going to match pretty close. Okay. Pretty close. And then when we stitch, we're going to stitch just inside of that stitch line, just to the inside. Do this again. I'm going to go the point in the cross hatch and in the cross hatch right here. Y'all, if it's a little bit off, don't die over it. It'll be fine. Nobody's going to inspect your seams on your bowl cozy. Where's my pins? Sorry. Oh, here they are. Here's my pin bowl. I don't know what happened to it. Okay. Oh. Get where you can see in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. Okay. So, and then you can do this in the middle too to make sure that your lines right in this center there and right in the center on that one. So what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that when I stitch on the top, I'm not going to have any seam lines from the bottom sticking out. I don't want to see it. So let's sew this and see if my theory works. Okay. All righty. Put my little foot down. Wrong foot. I'm like, it's not going all the way down. Wrong foot. What's going on? That's the wrong foot for my machine. How did that happen? I need a different shank. These are short shank. That's not going to work. I don't know where the regular foot is for this machine, y'all. No clue. None. Here's another. It's all brother feet. Yes. Yeah, you're supposed to use cotton thread if you're going to put it in the microwave, Candace. You sure are. This is for a high shank machine. What's all in here? Yeah, y'all, I don't know what happened to that foot. All right. That's why I stuck my finger. That should have been my first clue. I have a 1/4 inch foot. I wonder if this foot will fit the machine. It's a high shank. Let me see. I don't know. It won't. I don't think. Nope, it sure won't. Let me do a width. Nope. We're going to have to move to a different machine, you guys. I don't have the foot. I went and got the foot to make sure I had the right foot, but it's a low shank. I grabbed the wrong one. It's always something. Isn't it? Always something. It sounds like something you'd do. I'm telling you. Y'all, the story of my life. I'm trying to see. I don't sew on this machine ever. And I thought, oh, I'll just sew it together on the same machine. But no, you have to have a high shank because the Luminaire is a high shank machine. Oh, you know what? It's in my accessories box, which is down here somewhere. I think. Let me move this. No. Aha. Is there one in here? Yay. There it is. Okay. Right tool for the job. Yeah. No, I didn't. I like that move it foot. Yeah, that's cool. Now let me put this on. Is that how that goes? How does that go? That fits. Ah, I see. I never sew on this thing. I never sew on it. I use it just for embroidery only, which is why I have it on a flexi spot table that goes up and down. I would never buy one of those fancy tables with the hydraulic lift inside of it because this has to sit up on top of the table because of the embroidery arm. There we go. I'm all, yeah, let me get going. Put the foot down and it doesn't go to the bottom. Money. There it is. Crafty Pat, story of my life. She says I try to be organized and then I spend all morning hunting for things. Story of my life. All right. I don't have the foot installed, so I'm going to go like on a slowish speed and just do the button thing. Pull my pin so I don't break a needle. That's not a good way to start the day, right? I'm not a fan of button sewing like this, using the button to go. Now, one thing you can do instead of doing the back stitch, you guys, on the Luminaire, it has a knot. You can just press this and it'll stitch a knot. Oh, I need to keep going. Right there. Or you can go backwards. Oop, my bad. Cut. All right. Ta-da. That's how you get your cross hatches to match on your seam, y'all. Okay. So now I need to stitch the darts. And so I'm just going to put these, match my crosshatch seams and pin, just do one little pin. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I can stitch pretty good. Alignment's my thing, you guys. Being a quilter. Let me back up a little here. And go forward. So I'm stitching so that that seam line is, the seam line is just, oh, see, this is what happens if you miss it. Can you see that right there? You can see that stitching line if you miss it. That's why you want to, get it right. So I'm going to stitch this one more time. Just to the inside of that outer stitch line. And you don't have to do any back stitching out here because you're going to sew over that anyway. If you wanted to do a back stitch little knot to the inside of the dart, you can. There. That's the pretty that we want. Just like that. Okay. One more time on the other side. So to prevent having to miss that, you can put this and this. Hold it straight in one side of the seam allowance and out the other. And if you're good, you got it. Okay. That's a little off. I'm not going to let that bother me. So there's the outside of our bowl cozy. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful. Okay. So let's do the inside. Same thing. Right sides together. Match my crosshatch points for alignment. Okay. Hold the pin horizontal. In one side of the seam allowance, out the other. And same with this one. Yeah, this is a juju. What's it say? I want what? You guys give a thumbs up if you're in there in the kitchen chatting around, not doing anything. Like a thumbs up, please. And subscribe if you're not already. We can spend more time together and sew together. All right. Perfect. Looks good. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and kind of eyeball these seams and put them together right here on the corner and pin them. And then I'm just going to make a pivot right there. So you can really do it all in one go if you're good. That got that seam together. Yeah, that worked out perfect. That worked out really pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so let me do this other seam up here. On this whole straight one, you could really do it all in one go. Put that corner and this corner. All righty. Yeah, if I was doing these cross hatches manually and not have an embroidery machine do it, they would never match in a million years. I would probably do a stipple instead. Okay. Perfecto. That looks really good. Okay. And now I'm going to do these other 2 darts. Oh, before you do these other 2 darts, you may want to go ahead and press this open. Hush, hush. Y'all, my watch kept losing power, and I was like, what is going on with my watch? It's driving me crazy. And the charger wasn't plugged into the wall. Duh. Okay. Oh, don't knock that over, Becky. Okay. I have a pressing ham. You may want to do that. Now this is the inside, okay? So it's just going to make it lay a little flatter in there. Steam it. Never see me use steam when I'm quilting, but I'm steaming now so that I can bend this batting and fabric to my will. I want to get this open and nice and pretty so it lays flat. Okay. You don't have to have one of these. If you don't, get a towel and just kind of roll it up nice and tight. And then press over that. You're going to press on these curves. I want it to look pretty. Okay. Just at least down that center seam, because this is what it's going to look like inside of the bowl cozy. Look how pretty that is. Clean, very nice on the inside. Very good. Okay. Now I'm going to stitch those other 2 darts together. Okay. I got a trick to show y'all to get this thing turned easy, because it's a beast. I'll put these corners together like that. Alrighty. You guys can put one of these together in an hour, easy. It's a nice little gift for somebody if you've got new folks in the neighborhood. Let's see, that looks pretty good. All right, last stitch for putting this together. Okay. All right, that looks good. Well done. Pretty good here. See the difference in the pressed seam versus not pressed? You can really see it in the camera because these are pretty deep and the ones that are pressed are not. And do I want to press these? Let me finger press and see what we get. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Finger press them open. Okay. So now you've got your inside of your bowl cozy like that, okay? And your outside of your bowl cozy, and you want to put them right sides together. And when you're putting right sides together, make sure your seams, your center seams are going the same way, like this, okay? Put your center seams going the same way. And I'm going to match those center seam edges, outer edge points. Nest. It's hard to nest if your seams are pressed open, but we go through that with quilting, right? So just go ahead and Now I'm going to pin with quilt pins on both sides of that seam to anchor these together. Okay. I didn't catch that back fabric. You want to make sure that's a thing. I mean, if you sew it together and your seams are the wrong direction, that's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Sew darts. So the other two darts. Oh, yeah, right. Got ahead of myself, didn't I? Sew the other two darts, dummy. All right. Duh. I'd have gotten there, right? And gone, oh, dang it. All right. Takes a team. Team sewing. I was watching Mindful Midlife last night, Bobby. I really like watching her. She does a lot of drugstore makeup reviews and just talks about life in her late 50s. And she put out a video last night, and she was doing one of the makeup things she used had like some shimmer in it. So literally, she looked like she hit a glitter bomb when she was all said and done. And then she took her large powder brush and tried to get it off and transferred all of that shimmer powder onto the brush. And I was like, oh no, make sure you clean that before you use it again. It's funny. You can see things when you're watching that the person behind the camera doesn't see. All right. Let me pop this out and see if I want to go ahead and press it open, if it's really going to matter. No, it looks pretty good. See, I don't have all of that batting in there, so it looks pretty good since I trimmed it out with the trimmer by George. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready, y'all. All right, right sides together, seams go in the same direction. And I'm going to marry up those two seams so that they're even with one another and they look good. And be sure to catch the fabric so you don't get a big balled up bundle underneath your foot. I can't see y'all's chat. Okay. Those are the two that if they're not right, it'll look funny and you won't like it. Well, Kelly, get the trimmer by George if you want it. Life's short. Buy the ruler. Make your life easy. If you ever get to do in Designs by Juju wall hangings or Christmas tree skirt, anything like that, you're going to want that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get these corners. And I'm going to clip them. Oh, let me do these too. I'm just going to get all of these little darts together, get their seams. I like to use pins on the seams because it's just more accurate. You can do what you want. So you just want to go around with your clips now and get these corners done. Let me do this one over here. I like the Wonder Clips. They work pretty good. Let's see. I'm just eyeballing to make sure I get my seams right on top of each other so that they don't stick outside. And if you miss it and they end up, I'm going to take a different color clip and I'm going to put it right here. Now, let me tell you, when you're going to leave a hole for turning, okay, you don't want to leave the hole right here where your seam is or any of your darts. Don't leave it right there. And you don't want to leave it on a corner. You've got to think about at the end when you're going to seal it up. Okay. So a side space right here. So I'm going to end and back stitch right here before this seam. So that's real strong. So I'm going to back stitch right here and I'm going to back stitch right there. I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to go all the way around and I'll back stitch right after I come out of this last corner. Okay. And leave yourself a straightaway for the closure. Don't do it on a corner and don't do it on one of those dart seams. You won't like it. When you go to finally put the thing, if you've never made one of those, if you've made one, you've made that mistake and you know what I'm saying is right. If you've ever done that before. This is the easiest one. Making bowl cozies the old-fashioned way is a major pain in the neck. A viewer sent me one years and years ago, and I use it all the time. We use it constantly, especially in the winter. But, you know, Keith, we'll put, to reheat something in the microwave. I'm assuming it's 100% cotton. I'm assuming. Because it looks like she made it, with the sewing machine, not with an embroidery machine. Is there a techie person here other than me that can help connect? That can connect to help you on your husband's computer? Oh, I don't know, Becky. I don't know about that. Alrighty. I'm going to start sewing now. Right here, because this is the side with the different color clips. So this is where my opening is. So I'm going to start sewing right over here, right near this seam. And I'm going to go all the way around. And then we're going to turn it. Okay. So let me put the foot down, do a couple of stitches. Do a back stitch and a couple more stitches. Okay. Y'all, I'm going to miss your chat. If you want to make turning, when you go to turn, you want to make it look a little bit better. You will so you have this V of a stitch, right? This is your seam line. You've got that V. You want to get right up to it, pivot a little bit, make 1 to 2 straight stitches right here, and then pivot and stitch. If you give 1 to 2 stitches, depending on how long your stitches are, if you give 1 to 2 little tiny stitches where that meets, and you may even want to back stitch on that if that makes you happy. What happens is when you turn it, because you've created a straight stitch instead of making a point with the V. You think you're making it really crisp by coming down on that dart and then going back up. It'll bunch at that point. If you do 1 to 2 little straight stitches on the point, when you turn it, it gives that fabric somewhere to go. That's a trick I learned about flipping collar points on shirts. It's amazing how much garment stitching does. I wonder if you can see, if I can get you down in to see exactly what I see here. Let me point this down, get you in and get you in so you see what I see. Let's check this out. Okay. So hold on. Do I have a marker? So what I want to do, I'm going to come down. Instead of coming down right here to the seam and making a pivot and then coming back out of it. You can't see that. I'm going to come down to the seam. I'm going to stop. I'm going to turn it just a little bit. I'm going to go back and forth right there. And then I'm going to turn it again and come out of it. Okay. That's how you do that. So that can make your finished product a lot prettier. So now that I've explained to you what I'm doing, let me start again right here. Okay, right there, stop, pivot so that I'm straight. I'm going to go forward a couple of stitches. I'm going to back up over that. Okay. If you hold the button on these machines, it goes slow, one stitch at a time. And now I'm going to pivot out of it just a little bit. And now I'm stitching just to the inside. I'm going to use my hand and help it to rotate around. I put it on a slow speed. That will help me pivot. I'm right inside of that stitch line. Great. Now I can go a little bit faster. Let me make sure my, okay. Pull that pin, pivot straight. Go backwards. Pivot. Oh, touched it twice. Didn't mean to do that. How about that? That's pretty slick, huh? Get the hang of this after a minute. I think I've done it once or twice. Get right there in that. Pivot. I'm going to go forward. Go backwards. I'm going to come out of the curve and stop and then back stitch. All right. Awesome. All done. Good, good, good. Okay. So we're all stitched together and I've got this one little gap right here. If you want to press this open, you can. I'm not that dedicated. That's not what I want to do. I need to drink coffee. Woo! That was something else, wasn't it? Okay, now to turn this thing, to make your life easy, you can stick your thumbs in there and start going. My arthritic hands don't like that. So I have a, these are in, these are in my Amazon store. This is a Dritz turning tool. Mine's blue. They don't make the blue ones anymore. They're in purple now. But same thing, okay? And it comes with 3 tubes plus some pushers, which is like a chopstick sort of thing. And they're different widths. So I'm just going to use the big one, the large tube, okay, is what I'm going to use, not the stick. What did I do with the gap? Where's the gap? I can't see the gap. All right. What did I do with the gap? Oh my goodness, I can't find it. Where is it? I did not sew this together, did I? I had a gap a second ago. That is funny. I can't find that where I left the opening. Oh my word. There it is. I was like, don't tell me I sewed that thing together. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go all the way in here. I'm going to go to the opposite corner. Okay. Opposite corner of this thing. And I'm going to take this Dritz turning tool is the bomb. So I'm not trying to push it through the tube. Okay. I'm just using the tube to hold that corner. And then I can push this up onto the stick. Okay. And then I can use the stick to get that far corner all the way through like that. So you don't have to fuss with it so bad. And then it's just a matter of flipping it over the chopstick kind of thing. But that tube makes it really easy for you to turn that. These are one of those little things that make your life so incredibly easy. So look at this. I just turned this thing in about 15 seconds. Okay. You've got to, yeah, you're fast. The turning tools are just the bomb. And then while your little chopstick is in there, go ahead and use it to poke the corners out of everything else. So you don't necessarily have to pull it through the tube. You don't want to, it won't fit anyway. You can't. And pop that little corner. Oh, that's so pretty. So take a look here. By me using those 2 extra little stitches. Okay. Look how pretty that turned out. There's room for the turn, for the little fabric that's in there. There's room for it to turn. Okay. Get back in here. Poke this out nice. And get this. There we go. All righty. That looks great. And because you didn't stop on the corner and leave that open, now you don't have to fiddle with that. So now your edges are going to naturally want to fold inside to finish. Okay. This looks great. Very pretty. Looking pretty. All righty. Over to the ironing board to finish this thing. Whoop, bumping my coffee cup again. Excuse me, Mr. Light. No? Okay. Now, they make this stuff called It's another product by Dritz. It's called Stitchuatory. Okay. Thank you. I love the colors too. This Garden Girl pattern line, fabric line is one of the prettiest. Now this Stitchuatory, I don't have the package anymore. This is like a webbing. It's not gluey at all. It's not gluey, but it is a permanent adhesive. Permanent. Back in the day when I had to sew my stripes on my uniforms. Oh, hold on a second. I cut that too small. When I had to sew my stripes on my uniforms, I would use Stitchuatory to iron them on first and hold them in place exactly where I needed them and then sew. All right. So when you're going to do a closure like this, I want to make sure that green thread is inside. I don't want that to show. Okay. So I want my closure to look like this. Now, the best way to do this, this is a trick, you guys. Pay attention. You want your Stitchuatory a little bit longer than the gap. Okay. So my gap is from here to here, and I want it, I'm going to make it about an inch longer. Okay. I got it wet, or I melted it or something, and it sticks to itself. So the easiest way to put this in is to go ahead and put it in the middle and slip it inside. And you want to fold it on the ends. Okay. Let me show you why. Hold on. Let's get you in here. Foot stomp. Yeah. You don't want your iron to get on this. No. Okay. So I'm going to slip this in here so that it tucks up in. All right. Now, dealing with these corners can be a pain because it kind of wads and whatnot, right? And you're like, we'll get in there. Okay. So the best way to handle this is to go ahead and put your fabric exactly like you want. And then you're going to take a pin. You can fold this back on itself. And you want to make sure you get all the way to the corner. Okay. So you fold it back on itself, and then you take your pin and you put your pin right inside the fold and push the pin all the way into where you did your back stitch seam. And this is where you want to use those magic pins, the silicone head ones. Okay. So this is how you get Stitchuatory all the way into the seam, so you don't have a little hole there. And it's nice and neat. All right. So you can take a magic pin. That's the one with the silicone head. Put it right inside and then push that folded edge all the way over to the seam. And it just goes in there nice and flat and perfect. Just like that. I don't see any Stitchuatory at all sticking out. I don't want to make sure my edges are pretty even. So that Stitchuatory is in there nice and tight now. And now I can make the outer seam. Look at what a pretty closure that's going to make. Okay. Now you want to steam it. And hold it a couple of seconds. Okay. Every once in a while, we get a bright spark here at Power Tools with Thread. Okay. Look at that. I'm going to let it cool while I press out the rest of this. But that's a really neat little trick. Make it longer than you need for the gap, and then fold the ends in and push the ends with a flat fold into those corners, and you won't have to worry about having a gap with your Stitchuatory. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. That looks really good. All right. I'm going to pull my pins. All right. Look at that. You think I'm hand sewing that? You're out of your mind. I ain't hand sewing a thing. I think we're done, y'all. I've got a pretty, pretty bowl cozy. Look at my seams there. How about that? 1/2 inch seam allowance. Very nice. Yes, it makes sense using the Stitchuatory. It sure does. Yeah, that's why I did that. That's beautiful, y'all. How about that? How about that? Very nice. I love it. Move my iron. This is why I have that big scorch. I'm really bad about that. Okay, hold on. Let me put this stuff back. What I do with the pin with the little, it goes right here. Okay, that's cool. I'm not going to top stitch it. I could if I was very industrious, but I'm not. If you're going to wash them, you may want to top stitch it. Yeah, I'm finished with it. I didn't top stitch my last one. I'm not going to top stitch these. Y'all, I try to do stuff as simple as possible. If I was, see, I'd want tan on the inside and green on the outside. I'm not going to top stitch it. So anyway, yeah, you guys can knock these out in about an hour. We're an hour and a half on the Embroidery Thursday, which is normal for us. But where did I get the pattern for the pin cushion? Oh, that is, I got this from a viewer. Made this for me when I first started my channel years and years ago. It's got little beads in it. This is from this pattern is called Shrooms. So check out, Google a Shrooms pincushion pattern. You'll get it. Super cute. Where's my bowl? I think I'm going to go get a bowl of oatmeal. What do you think? All right, you guys. This has been a lot of fun. Love it. Very, very cute. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I have silicone mats all over that embroidery on that ironing board. It's fine. Yep. All right, you guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Again, I will be on Sew Machines Plus at 3:30 this afternoon, where we are going to get quilting on how to build a scarecrow. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait. All right. I will talk to you soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow, Giveaway Friday. I got something cool too. All right. You guys go sew something. Bye.